morning. Morning all. Stack. Welcome. Welcome to another pre-market live stream. So let's start here. Markets were up last night. Now they're giving up a lot of the gains. Yesterday we had a very volatile day. For those who haven't watched my video yesterday, I took a long trade in the afternoon. Very odd, but I was in front of the computer. I had the opportunity and I took it. Soccer MB, welcome. All right, let's start before the economic news, right? Let's review here. Netflix crushed the earnings, right? Everything was good on the report. More users, more revenue, more EPS. So they're up like 10 to 12%, I guess, I think, in the morning, right? It's important because today we have Tesla in the afternoon, okay? We need to pay attention to the what NQ does with Tesla. All right, so with that, we already know that we are aware of that. All right, so regarding the economic side of news, we did have a terrible news from Europe, from Great Britain. CPI is hotter. PPI is a lot hotter than expected. So all their numbers were very, very bad. On the Eurozone, we did have a hot inflation, but better than expected. But I would say more like in line with the expectations, right? But core CPI month over month is not good. Annualized, this is almost 14%. So this is something that we need to pay attention to also. It's almost 15%, sorry. All right. 30-year mortgage rate continues to climb, continues going up. So this will affect the housing market big time. MBA mortgage applications, minus 4.5 week over week. I think we haven't had a good number in a long time. Yeah, the majority of these last 3 months are on the negatives, right? This is a week over week number, but look at this. All of them are being on the negative side. Not good. Building permits, better than expected. Housing starts, very negative though. So I don't know how to interpret this number, like housing starts. Like if housing starts are positive, I would think it's good for prices, right? More inventory, more options for people to buy. Whereas also I could interpret that this negative number, the sentiment is very negative. So home builders are like panicking that they're not building, right? So it's hard to interpret this number. Okay, then we have crude oil inventories today. All oil numbers, gasoline, etc. We have beige book at 2. So I certainly will pay attention to that. So I'm gonna put an alert for that. That's a report that the Fed released regarding economic activity, retails, and so on. Right, so I do have an alert for that. There you go, beige book. All right, let's jump into the dollar. Mr. Dollar is going up. The king still very, very bullish, right, for the year. And we are going up 0.74% as of right now. Now, I'm all excited about the dollar going up. Not really. If you go to the lower time frame, it came to one supply from Monday, right? This is the open from the London session. So I'm not excited about a continuation on the dollar to the upside just because we need to break this supply, Okay, this is a very important supply. Look at the leg out here, massive sell off right here on the dollar. So there are a few scenarios that I'm gonna be looking at today, right? The first one and the more straightforward is we continue to the upside, we break, and we retrace, right? And remember, this doesn't have to be very, very far. All right, a retest somewhere in here that we could create during the trading session, and a continuation to the upside. The other scenario, and the most likely, is this one. Like we base for a little bit, and then we drop, right? Now, if you see, the equity markets are aligned with this supply right here. Equity markets have been bouncing from that level, and the dollar is coming to this level, right? The same time. So let's see what is going to happen. If the equity markets break to the downside, this dollar has to be breaking to the upside, and the opposite is true as well. If the equity markets are holding the demand, this dollar has to be holding this supply, so we can play to the upside. Okay. So this is the demand from London session today, 3 in the morning. If this is another scenario, if the dollar just comes down and the equity markets does not move to any good high quality supply, then I can play the short on the equity markets right here, right? But we need time for this to develop. This is not going to be in the next 30 minutes, okay? It's probably not even today. So this is the supply that we need to pay attention to in the dollar. And this is the demand that we need to pay attention to in the dollar today. Okay, let's see if we come sharply here, but the equity market stays right there, then yes, the more downside in the equity markets. Okay. I want to see the dollar moving down and the equity market just staying where it is at, or at least not going above new highs. Rates expected, we broke to the upside. 4.10 is the high today. 4.12. This chart is really impressive. We came back down to this demand, and we are just going back up. I've said this numerous times. I don't have any supply here to the left. I think we have some more room, at least to this 4.43. So let's see what happens. I'm considering a bullish environment in the yields today. So what I want to see, the 1 hour, just to hold these highs, okay? I don't want to see this thing breaking below these highs if I'm considering this as a bullish trade, right? So remember, dollar up, yields up, short in tech, okay? That's why the markets are giving up a lot of its gains, right? If this thing changes and it breaks to the downside, then I will consider my point of view regarding the short, okay? But for now, this thing is going up. I understand this will probably go sideways for a little bit, or either even retrace, but I don't want to see this thing, if I'm shorting the market, right? I don't want to see this thing coming below this, okay? Or at least not today. I want just to be holding right here. All right, the VIX. This VIX, beautiful chart. Not really. We were talking about this demand. We came here, we closed inside the demand yesterday, and we are retracing back up. Now, I do have some sort of supply right here. You have this huge engulfing candle, another engulfing candle to the downside. And if you go to the 30-minute, you have this pivot right here. We came here yesterday, during the trading session, and we managed to close inside the demand. Now we're gapping up a little bit. So I do think this reversal from yesterday is putting some pressure to the downside. So one likely scenario here is we come back to the, depending on what the equity markets do, right? But probably here, if we have some sort of sell-off at the opening, we can have a bounce and then a retracement, right? This is a very odd chart. Like it's elevated, but it's not very elevated due to the environment and the uncertainty in the equity markets, right? So if you go to the daily, you can see how we have a downtrend, right? It's making lower highs since January. So we haven't have any break to the upside. If we happen to have a break to the upside, I would say that will be probably the bottom of the market. Finally, capitulation from investors, right? Just giving up, and then after that, a recover on the market, like the ones that we have here, the ones that we had here. Okay, big push to the upside. We set the low, and then we just start going up. Okay. Morning. All right, so that's the VIX. I was checking copper because copper is a very good chart to see where inflation is heading. Let's see crude oil first. Crude oil came to this demand. It blew it a little for a little period of time. I think this was the closing from yesterday. Then we're bouncing. Now this demand for me is not a very high quality demand, and this is the high quality demand that I did have before. We have this huge rejection, so I want to pay attention what is happening when the prices come back here to 84, 80, between 84.50 to 86. All right, if you go to the 30-minute, you do have this, and I'm gonna get rid of this because I do think this is the one. This is a very high quality supply right here. Look at the push to the downside. Like we have the initial push, then a retest, and then here, finally, a sell-off, okay? If we manage to come back to this area, it's a good area to sell. Now, regarding the location is not the best. If you ask me, all right, what is a good location for you? I would say like around here, right? But nevertheless, this is an area that is gonna put some selling pressure. Okay. Regarding the demand, I do not have other than this one, this pivot, but it's enormous. It's too big. It's from 79 to 76. So I would say like this is a good area. This is 4-3 in the morning. 7. I want to see something created at 9 in the morning. This could be, but it's not my favorite deformation. Okay. We haven't come here yet. Okay. So I will put here I'll put here low prop demand. All right, so that is crude oil. I always have to give a glance to whatever gold is doing and the other metals. Gold broke this consolidation period, so we have 1639 right now, close to the pivot. So my demand is 1611. I will think that I will put some of my money in GLD at these levels, probably 1576. I would nibble a little bit. Now remember, the dollar is on a high quality supply, like it's a huge supply from 2000 to 2002. So I do think that the dollar might go sideways for a quite for a long period of time. I'm talking months right now. The timing with gold is not easy. That's why I want to nibble here. I want to just buy in low increments, okay? Same story with silver, but silver looks a bit stronger though. Copper, we did have a good day yesterday, I think. No, actually, we dropped yesterday. I don't follow copper so closely for my day trading, but I like to see it for just to see the overall economical environment, right? So here is we're at levels of 2018. Certainly the pandemic was right here. Where is it? This is the low from the pandemic. So I think inflation will come down. Like this chart is telling me that copper is a very, very used commodity, especially in construction and building and stuff. And this thing is coming down. We have been sideways for a few months, but I think we can start breaking to the downside. These levels will bring inflation down a little bit more. All right, so now let's go to the ES. And here's the chart for the ES. This is the 30-minute. I don't think we need to see the daily, but let's take a look at the daily. Very bullish pattern here. The rally, the base, and another rally, if you will, but in reality is within this trading day. If we happen to have a leg out, this is going to be in the future a very good buy area, okay? If we happen to come back to this area. Now, if we go to the lower time frame, right, for today's trading session, this is the line in the sand that I want to pay attention to, like 3,700, right? We came here yesterday. We bounced from here twice. We created this double bottom. And we have some of very bearish sentiment in the morning. Now, it's not unusual because we have the dollar going up, but remember, the dollar is hitting some supplies from Monday. Okay, so I want to see the dollar breaking that supply if I want to take this thing to the short side, right? So this is the same scenario on the dollar, but inversed, right? So here we break to the downside. And we continue on to the downside, okay? Break, retest, downside. If the dollar holds that supply, then we will have a rally from here, right? If the dollar hold this supply, this one, where is it? Okay, if the dollar holds this supply, right? And we have this sort of behavior on the dollar, I will try to re-engage to the upside. I will try to get long here after we have the bounce, okay? Remember, all this is overnight. I don't pay much attention to these drops overnight. If I want to see some areas that could cause any impediment to the long side will be this pivot, okay? Right here. So that pivot is 3720, 3721. Okay. For now, I'm neutral bearish, but I'm aware that the dollar is in supply. I don't want to just assume that the dollar is gonna go to the moon. Okay. The dollar is in supply. I want to pay attention to that. Same scenario for the NQ. Exactly the same scenario. The other thing with the NQ, the good thing with the NQ is that we did have this demand, right? So we were paying attention to this yesterday. That's why I took the long right here in the afternoon. Now the dollar was aligned. Everything was like pretty much in sync for the long, okay? The same scenario. So 11,100 to 1130, 11,030. and the same resistance right here. Same resistance right here. Exactly the same chart. Now, if we do have the dollar going up along with yields, for those who trade the ES, if you have the yields and the dollar going in the same direction, the NQ is going to be more profitable. It's going to be more volatile. Okay, if you want to take a trade. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you have any question, you can bring it to the live trading session, and see you all in 15 minutes. Okay, thank you for being here, guys. Later.